My name is Daniel Ayala, and this is my Army story.
Daniel Ayala.
Hey, what's going on?
It's going, brother. How are you today?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm making it, man. I'm dealing with the government shutdown myself personally, but I'm doing great.
Oh man.
Yeah. I really want to appreciate you coming on the show. I know you've been real busy, and we've been chatting a lot though, and I feel like we're pretty close, man. Already, we've just been chatting it up, and we're both
Yeah.
in the great
Yeah.
nation too.
Yep. That's a good thing about the Army. We completely strangers, and we can like relate to pretty much same stories and same background, and same pretty much lifestyle.
Right. Yeah. Dude, honestly, I've been so excited for this podcast. I've been trying to get somebody that was an EOD since I started this. And I feel like you guys are more secret squirrely than like the Green Berets and shit.
Maybe
I
because more Green Berets want to tell their stories than EOD techs, but yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, that's a good point. They that's a very good point. I mean, like the EOD team I knew, very humble, very great at their job. Um, Came when it mattered, and dude, they got down when they needed to too, man. So it was like, but like, it's y'all are like small army, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. So I went in straight EOD, so my experience from the Army is probably a lot different than most of the infantry people and most of you guys. But yeah.
Yeah. So how would they? So you joined a little bit older, right? Obviously, because I think you can't go like 18 years old as a EOD, right?
During I guess during the peak of the surge, you could go in straight EOD if you scored high enough on the ASVAB. So I went straight EOD right out of high school. Like a month later, I was in EOD. Right after basic training, I went straight to EOD school and started EOD school.
Shit. Okay, first let's go over what is EOD, like the
EOD,
acronym.
explosive ordnance disposal. They pretty much dispose of any explosive hazards. So be it
Yeah.
bombs, homemade explosives, whatever the explosive hazard is, the EOD team is responsible for safing it and getting rid of it.
Yeah, and the I think it's the number one most dangerous job in the military, EOD.
Yeah, I don't have statistics, but yeah, it's pretty dangerous. I mean, it's like being a firefighter, you're gonna get burned. Being a bomb tech, you're probably gonna get bit at some point.
Right, right. So okay, so you're a youngin, and you decide that you want to go poke at bombs. How does that even happen?
Yeah, I did.
You
I
saw
scored
the you
well.
saw the Hurt Locker.
No, no. Hurt Locker. I was already in like 4 years on the Hurt Locker,
Oh,
But
okay, okay.
yeah, when I was in high school, I took the ASVAB. I scored well on it. My recruiter told me pretty much pick jobs that I like, or ask to see which one gives the biggest bonus. And at the time, EOD gave the biggest bonus. I joined 05, so the biggest bonus was $4,000. So
Uh-huh.
I signed up to EOD for a big bonus of $4,000.
Hey, I think in '05, $4,000 went a long way.
Yeah, especially for an 18-year-old, right?
Yeah, dude. So, but okay, so where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Conroe, Texas, so just
Okay.
north of Houston area.
Hey, man, Texans are wild, so I could see why you're like, I want to go poke at bombs, dude.
So yeah,
Um,
I
how was?
really
Go
didn't
ahead.
know what it was until like halfway through EOD school, and I started realizing, oh crap, we're actually like hands-on disarming bombs. But by that point, it was a cool experience. It was a good challenge. It was fun. The group was like cool people. They're welcoming and
Uh-huh.
accepting. It was cool. It was just fun. So,
Hey, so I mean, you joined in '05, and the Iraq War has already been kicked off for like 2 years. Afghanistan for 4. And what did you have call to service, or you're like, hey, I'm bored in Conroe, Texas, or what happened?
yeah, no, it was kind of just I'm bored in Conroe, Texas, and I wanted to see what the military was about, see what kind of experience you to get, challenge myself too, and just give myself some opportunities outside of my immediate area, kind of.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't speak too much for your side of the house, like your family, but like me being a Mexican, I think I would assume you're of Mexican descent too.
Yes.
But we're very like tight, close knit family. You know what I mean? It doesn't really like branch off outside of that. You know what I mean? Like you don't really have like parents, friends coming in my opinion. You know what I mean? It's very like tight knit, like
Oh yeah,
you know.
yeah. Definitely, it's tight knit family, but usually Mexicans have a lot of families, so it's a tight knit like 50 group of 50 or 100.
Yeah, because dude, I was oblivious when I joined the army. I joined way later than you did, and I had no idea I was gonna go to war. Like it sounds as stupid as it did. Um, but dude, nobody in my family served in the military. It was like, hey, you're blue collar working. You know what I mean? My dad was in the Navy, but he was in like in the early '90s, late '80s, and I'm like, that's way different from what was going on in the GWAT. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Nobody in my family, nobody I knew had served in the military either. It was just a different unknown that I wanted to go figure out.
Right, right. So, like, what kind of kid were you like growing up in high school?
Yeah, I've listened to these stories, and I kind of fit into the typical. I wasn't infantry, never tried to claim to be infantry. I probably couldn't hang with infantry, but I definitely grew up the typical infantry lifestyles. Difficult. Poor family, living trailer park. Fight. Being a Mexican kid, we didn't get along with pretty much anybody. So white people don't like it, especially in Houston. It's so racially
Yeah,
divided that it's
right.
it's it's tense there. So just growing up as a little Mexican kid in Conroe, Texas, it was tough. But
Yeah. It's
but
true
that
too, man. I mean, it is rough for a Mexican kid sometimes, you know. Especially like, well, me, I grew up in San Antonio, so it's way different. It's right, very Mexican diverse. But the white people had like a side of town that they always stayed on, you know, and they gave you looks when you went over there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's kind of how I grew up. But yeah, it was cool joining the military because like that's not common. Everybody's cool with everybody, and yeah, that's kind of my favorite thing about the military is you get to see different people's backgrounds and see how it creates them and how they it creates how they handle situations and stuff. It's cool.
Right. S- did you have no aspirations to go to college or anything like that?
No, not really. I at the time I did. I was just trying to do something fun, not necessarily college.
Yeah. Um so you go talk to the recruiter, you get EOD, score super high on the ASVAB. You get EOD. Where do you go to basic training at?
Went to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I joined in July, so went to Fort Leonard Wood. Went through the basic there. Uh, right after basic, you have to do like a bomb suit test to make sure that you can perform well in a bomb suit under heavy weight and pressure and extreme circumstances and all that stuff. And then after that, you get to go to EOD school. And EOD school for the Army is broken up in two sections. You do phase one in Redstone Arsenal, Alabama, and then I think that's like 3 months. And then after that, you go to Eglin Air Force Base with all the other branches, and all four branches go to the same EOD school at Eglin Air Force Base, and that's about 9 to like 11 months long, depending on if you have to do the underwater course.
Whoa. Okay, okay. Let's back up. Let's back up. All right. So how was basic training for you? Like, was it kind of hard? Was it mentally hard only, physically hard, or?
It was fun. I grew up playing soccer and being a runner and cross country. So the physical part was I was just kind of skinny, so I had to bulk up for a little bit. But
Yeah.
it was fun. I didn't find too many challenges other than lack of sleep and being away from family. But eventually, you kind of build little groups where it kind of feels like you're with family there anyway. So
Hmm.
it was cool.
Yeah. Okay. So when you go to Alabama, right? You go to Alabama for the first nine. I think you said 9 weeks of the EOD school. What are you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, like 3 months. In Alabama, you start your first phase of EOD school, so you start doing basic like ordnance identification, just basic procedures that EOD techs need to do, and start kind of weeding out the people that aren't going to make it in EOD school. So it's kind of just like a phase where they weed out people that they know they aren't going to make it in EOD school.
And then obviously when they don't make it, they go to engineer school.
Yeah, they get repast needs of the army like everybody else. So it's whatever needs of the army. 88 mics, whatever cooks. Yeah.
Yeah. So your first 9 weeks, like, did you know you said earlier, like halfway through, you didn't know that you were actually going to go hands on. So why do you think you're learning about all these bombs and shit?
I mean, being an 18-year-old kid, not being familiar with the military, you kind of really didn't know what to expect at all. But
Yeah.
yeah, on the videos, the recruiting videos, you just show explosions and robots and stuff. You're like, oh yeah, it's cool. You just blow stuff up with robots. But
Yeah.
then the more you get into it, you're like, oh, all right, you kind of have to do some hands-on stuff occasionally. So all right, this is different, but it's cool. It's still like a challenge. Each scenario is like a different challenge. So you kind of just treat it, as a unique challenge and try not to let it beat you.
Right.
That's it.
So you go to Elgin, right? Air Force Base?
It was Eglin Air Force Base.
Eglin.
Yeah,
Where's that at?
in Florida. It's right
Florida?
next to Destin. Yeah, right next to Fort Walton Beach. It's beautiful there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
part of the problem there is kids have too much freedom and you end up getting into trouble and not making it to class, not studying.
I was just gonna ask you. I mean, you're a kid from Texas, and you're
Yeah,
used to the fucking
Galveston.
Galveston Beach, and you go to Destin, Florida, dude. Like, what is it like, dude? You're like, oh
Yeah,
crap, this is real water.
yeah, no, it's amazing, man. Not only that, Panama City Beach was there, so I was there during spring break, and Panama City Beach during spring break for teenagers. It's just crazy.
Dude, that's funny, man. And you get to see clear water. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. The water and the beach was awesome too.
Yeah. So, okay, first, walk me through. I want to spend some time on this because I'm very curious. So, like, walk me through like first month of EOD school. Like, okay, like how do y'all do it? Like phases, right?
Yeah, yeah. EOD school. I did EOD school in 2005, so
It
it
probably
was a long
changed.
time ago. But I just remember there's different phases. Like there's a phase for each type of ordnance. So there's like a landmine phase, a bomb phase, a rockets phase, and then there's like an IED phase, and a chemical ordnance phase, and nuclear phase. But
Oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah, you pretty much have to be ready for any type of explosive hazard there is. Any type of explosive hazard, whether it's created by us or homemade, you got to be able to figure it out and make it
Right.
safe.
So since we're in like the heat of Iraq right now, do they have like the ID didn't get really too hot until like a little bit later, but did they already kind of like have like, hey, examples of like what you guys were going to be experiencing?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I went through EOD school around 2005, so the IEDs were kind of just barely starting up. The EOD IED phase was fairly new, but yeah, it was present, and they were showing the basic components of IEDs and what to look out for and how to kind of handle these situations and stuff.
So, let's talk about uh when did it hit you that you're like, shit, I'm actually going to be cutting bombs up?
Probably, well, just handling explosives. I thought it was cool, it's fun, but I saw other people getting so nervous around it that I was like, oh man, should I be as nervous as everybody else? Like, am I being too confident or what's going on? But yeah, some people just can't control their emotions as well as others. I don't know what the difference is. I try not to compare myself to anybody else, but
Right.
yeah, that was pretty much it. It was, at that point, and then IED phase, it was like, all right, sometimes you have to put on the bomb suit, and sometimes you have to do stuff hands on. And, that's usually the
Yeah.
last resort kind of situation. But at times, and during training, you have to prepare for worst case, so you have to get hands on a lot of times.
Uh-huh. So, man, I'm so curious here. Like, they're obviously they have to go through like some like live simulation And are the bombs active? Obviously, probably not the chemical bomb, but like probably like a
No,
mine
no,
or
no.
something.
Yeah, no, no, none of the ornaments we work on are active. Usually
Uh-huh.
there's like an instructor right next to you, just telling you when you would have, messed up, and if it's like a critical mess up, they treat it as like a real life scenario. So you're done. You're done. You are not alive to continue the procedure anymore. You have to go. And then,
Oh,
but in some situations, there's like a little bit of a simulator that like pops or makes a siren or something that tells you when you messed up. But for most cases, there's usually an instructor there to tell you when you messed up.
right. Um, when you're how many? This is gonna sound kind of crazy, but like how many times can you mess up? I guess you could say.
I mean, it depends on the mess up, right? But real mess up is big enough to take you out. You only mess
Yeah.
up once. That's it.
Yeah, because you know the army is very formal with their training. Like, oh, here's the block of it. Here's the
Uh,
block of things that you need to take off. Right, like you're a no go at the station.
yeah,
So like when you have a no go at a station, what do? You get retrained? Like, do they recycle you? Like, how does that work?
yeah, no. When you're at like working on a bomb, say, if you do like a critical error, it's enough to one error is enough to make you fail. You're done.
Okay,
You fail this station. You get one retry and that's it.
okay,
If you don't pass a retry, that's it. You go in front of a review board. Maybe you might get another chance, but most people don't get another chance. It's kind of that's it.
damn.
Uh, yeah, but one critical error is the passing score and EOD score is 85. And one critical error is 16 points. So one critical error, you're 84, and you're done. You don't pass.
Oh wow. Okay. So working with the bomb suit, man, like how did you guys had to put the bomb suit? Remember I asked you about the bomb suit. So like
Yeah,
what like you had to put it on during school and stuff like that?
yeah. And usually, and if you're in a high profile, usually you're supposed to put it on if you can. But depending on the situation, especially I was deployed in '07. '07, uh, Iraq was a little bit not as strict. So
Mm-hmm.
we chose not to wear the bomb suit a lot of times, or the team leaders did, just because it would prohibit your ability to move, your ability to react quickly. It sometimes the shield itself is not very clear, so it kind of made you tunnel vision, so it restricted your visibility, and it was just more risk than it was worth wearing it.
Yeah. So let me let me ask, are you guys are learning the new tools like the robot and then like I guess certain like Minehound and stuff like that, right? You guys are learning all that stuff?
Let's see. When I deployed in '07, we barely had gotten two robots, and they're
Okay.
still somewhat working and somewhat not working due to either overheating or radio jamming, whatever is happening. But yeah, robots were about maybe 60% unreliable. Sometimes
Uh-huh.
I was over there.
So what's the what's the graduation ceremony like when you finish EOD school?
Yeah, so EOD school is pretty difficult. Let me see. I started from the original 25. Again, all four branches go to the same school. So I was in a class of like 25 people, and it was Army, Air Force, and Navy, Marines. And from the original class of 25, only four of the original classmates graduated together. The rest of the class was just pieced together of people that got second tries occasionally here and there. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
four of us from the original 25 people actually graduated. And yeah, whenever EOD graduates, we graduate in front of the EOD memorial. It kind of reminds you of the risk and the role of your job. The EOD memorial has all the names of all the fallen EOD techs
Yeah.
since, since EOD started. And so you kind of accept the responsibility in front of everybody else, in front of all the fallen and in front of everybody
Right.
else.
I mean, shit, how do you feel as a young, what are you like 19 now? Like
Yeah,
dude, you're a 19-year-old with a bunch of 20-year-olds probably and you're like,
yeah.
"Damn, I just made it through EOD school." Like,
Yeah, a lot of the people in the EOD school were reclassed, so they had already served 4 years, and yeah, they're 4 6 years older than me. And yeah, I think I might have been one of the younger ones, but yeah, again, I was 19 years old. You feel invincible. You kind of joined for this kind of challenge, and you kind of just trying to do the best you can, kind of. So
Right.
it, it-
Right.
I was enjoying it. I was just going with it. It's doing my best and seeing what happens.
Man, I would feel hot shit, dude. If I were like, dude, if I was you, man, I'd be gretoing everywhere and stuff, dude. Freaking 19 years old, EOD,
Yeah,
man.
I was pretty cocky. I was pretty arrogant. I learned
Um,
to shut up and be a little bit more humble, but it took a while.
yeah. What? So, like, when you get orders to your first unit, like, is there like, obviously, it's probably like regular like line units. What are there like preferred EOD units? You know what I mean? I know it's small army, but like, is there like, hey, I want to go over here or like do this? You know?
Uh, I mean, during the time I graduated EOD school 2006, and at that time everybody was deploying, so they were like, within 6 months of getting your unit, you're going to deploy, and it doesn't matter where you're going, which duty station you're going, you're going to deploy.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I didn't have a preference. I think I chose Texas, so I went to Fort Hood, my first duty station.
Okay. And at least you're a little bit close to home, you know. And so when you first get to your unit, obviously you said 6 months. Is that true? Like you're gonna deploy like real quicker or further out or what?
No, yeah. I showed up and they're like, hurry up and get to CIF because we're about to go to, I think we went to NTC first. So we went to NTC like a week or two after I got there.
Oh shit. Dude, I'm very curious now. So what do you do as EOD at NTC?
Oh, we follow infantry units around and be their support as they find IEDs or whatnot. But usually it's like one team assigned to like a battalion. So
Right.
like whoever within the battalion has run into IED or an explosive hazard, then they call it EOD, and then we move from wherever we're at to wherever the IED site is.
Okay. And I mean, shit, dude. Like, okay, so how does like the team work? Like, how do you get like a little? So, like, okay, an EOD unit, it's like a company, and then do they have like separate teams in it or what?
Yeah. We also have like three platoons. Each platoon has like three teams in it. Each
Okay.
team had usually like three people in it, a team leader
Uh-huh.
and two team members. Sometimes for light teams, you have one team leader, one team member, but usually at least minimum one team leader per team.
Yeah, and the team leader can be what? Like, can it be an E6 or does it have to be an officer or what?
No, it's usually like a E5 or E6, typically a E6, but the team leaders are the ones that wear the bomb suit that makes the final call and what to do to disarm the IED or make it safe.
Fuck, man, that's a lot of responsibility for an E6. God damn.
Yeah.
Dude, like, hey, I'm over here like stressing as a medic, and I'm over here like, damn, that is like, bro, you should be get compensated very well for making those decisions. So okay, so it's like an E6, private, maybe specialist, a sergeant, and then like the team, right? And
And the team
so
again, they're just two team members. So it's usually like an E6, an E5, and a E4 or E3, and that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Just all three of those.
Okay, cool. So the battalion that you go to NTC with is the same battalion you're going to deploy with.
Yes,
Okay, and what is it, like a cav unit or is it like an infantry unit or what?
it was an infantry unit.
Uh huh.
I think we ended up being there longer than the original unit that was there, so we ended up supporting like multiple units. But I think the first one was a big red one.
Okay, okay. Cause, hmm. So Kansas, but you guys are out of Fort Hood, right? And y'all don't like overlap each other or anything, do you?
Yeah, no, we just meet up at JRGC and like, all right, here's your EOD company, here's the EOD units, and yep, that's it.
Yeah, that's
And we'll meet
wild.
you. Yeah, we meet them again at JRTC, a month later, 2 months later. Like, all right, here we are again.
Dude, that's wild to me because like why would you like I mean you're at Fort Hood. Why would you not deploy with somebody out of Fort Hood?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't make those kinds of decisions.
It's okay. So you're at NTC. Like
Yeah.
walk me through it, man. Like how do you feel? Like so like are the points real low? How do you get promoted in this? Because I mean, I assume you're like a specialist or a sergeant or something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when I got there, I was at E3, so I was a private.
Oh
Like,
shit. Okay. Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah, at that point, I was just like, this is my first experience of what the army is like,
Uh huh.
outside of training, outside of trade doc. So, yeah, I was just there to see what it's like and learn as much as I can because we're about to deploy. So,
Uh
learn as
huh.
much as I can, keep myself alive, safe and shit. But
Yeah. Did your leadership at the time have like did they already previously deploy or anything like that?
yeah, no, yeah. Luckily, my first unit was like super experienced. Like maybe there was like a handful of people that hadn't deployed. Everybody else had like two, three, four, five, six deployments. So everybody's
Hmm.
pretty seasoned.
Yeah. Um. So this is '06, right? And we're turning into the IED Iraq. Um. I'm so curious. So like, walk me up, dude. Like, okay, I'm like, hey, we need EOD spun up. Okay, so you guys come, take 3-4 hours, and then okay, and then you walk out, right? Like who you talk to the PL, right, on
Yeah.
site or something like that. And then what are your first thoughts like going through your head, like hey, we have a suspected IED, like.
Yeah, first thing is, get as much details of what they saw. Well, is it just a random wire sticking out of the ground? Is it buried? Is it small? Is it a
Mhm.
vehicle? Is it hidden in something? Is it actually invisible, or do we got to go search for it? And
Right.
second of all, what area is it at? Like, have we ran into the same thing at the same spot previously, or is it something new?
Uh-huh. Um. So do you guys like as a three-man team? Do you guys like all have like separate jobs or like, hey, the team leader's like, hey, you take this one this time or you
Oh
know?
no, yeah. Usually the team leader is the one in charge of all the responsibility, so he makes all the decisions. Uh,
Uh-huh.
Depending on the team leader, sometimes he can ask the team members based on their experience on advice and stuff. But mostly, some team leaders are all just do what I say and just they handle all the responsibility and all the decisions and
Yeah.
stuff. Team members just or drivers or gunners or robot
Mhm.
operators or just basic tools.
Yeah. So like he says, hey, go get me this, this, and this, and then you guys like pull out all this stuff for him, and then he'll start or her and starts determining like the fact what we need to do first.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but again, it's depending on the team leader. I had some team leaders that were kind of like that, and I've had some team leaders that we got there and we're like, all right, what do y'all think is probably the best plan of action? What's the best approach? Is a robot
Yeah.
ready? You know, just
Yeah.
making more of a
Oh,
team decision opposed to a single individual
oh,
decision.
we're gonna get into it, man. I'm very excited because I'm very into this right now. So okay. Um, do you feel NTC kind of like was obviously it's not realistic because the threat of exploding is not there. But like, do you feel like it kind of gets you in like good habits of learning things?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was a brand new, guy out of the streets going into EOD, so I was learning a whole bunch of stuff. The actual IEDs may not be as realistic and
Hmm.
representative was out in the field, but EOD has a separate pre-deployment training that they do where they actually like learn some of the more common tactics used in the area that you're going into. So we knew that this training was more of a figure out how to work with the infantry units that we're going to be with. You know,
Oh,
build, build some relationships there, figure out how they work, figure out how they're going to
okay.
use you as an EOD asset. Are they going to put you in the back and let you respond to things, or are they going to put you in the front and let you go find things? It's kind of, yeah, getting to know the unit that you're going to work with.
Yeah. So you just mentioned the training that y'all have separately. What is that? What are you referring to?
So we do JRTC, NTC with the units, and then we do our own. We used to call it Gator, but it was like a EOD specific deployment training where they usually grab intel from the areas that you're going into, and they develop scenarios similar to that of what you're going to actually see.
Oh, okay. Cool. 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 Um. So all right. Let's paint some pictures here, man. So you're a young 19-year-old man, you know, single, just came out of the best probably AIT spot. Going to Iraq. Um, how do you feel going to Iraq? Like, are people telling you stories like how it's gonna be or what?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see, we were getting ready. We knew we were deploying in February of 2007. So by Christmas time in 2006, you're kissing your families and make sure you hug them, let them know that you love them real good, and yeah, we knew the Iraq War was ramping up around late '06, early '07. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
we knew it was gonna be heavy when we got there. So
Yeah.
yeah, we were expecting worse and getting ready for it. It was,
Yeah. Do you guys have to do like a heavy weapons like qualifications or anything like that, or you guys just do like, hey, I have my M4 or M9 at the time, and that's all you guys get?
no, yeah, we got crew serve weapons. Usually it's a platoon asset, so a platoon will share some crew serve weapons, and yeah, we got Mark Deuce and 240 Bravo. So
Okay, cool, cool. All right, so you go to Iraq. Your first spot in Iraq. Where are you going to?
we went straight into Baghdad. Southern Baghdad was our area.
Okay, and obviously there's an EOD team there, right?
Yeah, yeah, we actually replaced the Navy team that was there. So yeah, it was interesting because they do stuff a lot differently. But
Yeah. So what are they kind of like briefing y'all about, like how? And obviously it probably changes throughout the deployment, but like, what are they kind of like briefing y'all about what's going down there?
yeah, they give us intel on what the common tactics are used, the common IEDs that you see, common whether you see pressure place or RC command initiated IEDs. Are you seeing a lot of EBIDs? Are you seeing is there time of the day, time of the year that kind of ramps up?
Right.
Just basic stuff.
Um, when you mention different, like, what is the major difference that y'all are doing?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it goes back to, well, one, Navy is considered Special Forces EOD. Their EOD is considered Special Forces. So they usually get like, all those best tools and fancy weapon systems and they usually get some extra training and because they get extra training, they have more confidence in their hands-on abilities and skills, and they tend to go more hands-on than
Yeah.
the Army guys. Army guys try to do everything as remote as possible. If in last case, worst case, you do hands-on. But
Oh, okay. I did not know that. So after like let's say you're going through the deployment, man. Um, tell me about your first mission, dude.
I don't even remember my first mission. Yeah, so yeah, it was busy. It was usually the reason we take 3 or 4 hours to get to somewhere is because before you even leave the wire to get to the first one, you already got 2 or 3 follow-on calls. So before I can get to
Oh,
you, I got to go take care of 2 other IEDs, and hopefully hoping that everything goes well and nothing goes wrong, right?
right,
and,
right.
and after I get done with those 2 IEDs, then I can come get to you. And usually by the time I get to you, I got 3 more follow-ons to go take care of after you. So it's
I just want to hop on here real quick and give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Craig Fleming at Fleming's Cleaning. Go ahead and use code word GWAT13 for your next commercial or residential cleaning. If you're in the San Antonio area, please hit them up. It's fall, it's dusty. Let's get your house or your commercial property clean. If you haven't done so, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel, share this content, like, and hit that notification bell. Follow us on all major socials: Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We're also on Spotify. So if you like to listen to podcasts on the road, go ahead and check us out over there. And with that, let's continue the episode.
yeah,
Damn. Okay.
yeah.
And so you're going out with like a QRF unit, right, or something?
Yeah. Sometimes
Okay.
you get dedicated security, but most of the time it's just QRF.
Okay. How was that deployment for you? Was your team leader like at that time like, hey, I'm gonna take charge of this and
Yeah, I had multiple team leaders during that deployment, but yeah, one of them was I'm going to take charge and you just listen. But uh, I, I guess was a little bit unsubordinate. I was always there to help him and do whatever we had to do. And even though he was pissed off and yelling at me, I was still going to be there helping them do whatever we had to do. Just to kind
Yeah.
of show them that, I want to learn, and I'm not just going to sit in the truck and do nothing. Like,
Yeah.
you get an extra set of hands and an extra set of tools. We can figure this shit out together.
Uh-huh.
My second team leader was a little bit more team oriented, so he was all about teaching me and getting me involved as much as possible, which helps train the younger people too. So I appreciated that a lot, and it helped me grow and get promoted pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think as a young private, I probably would want somebody who's gonna teach me a lot, especially when you if you plan on doing it for a long time, like that's gonna be kind of like your mojo. Like, how are you gonna be as a team leader? Like, I'm gonna do everything, or am I gonna trust my guys?
Yep. No, I believe the same thing, and I feel like it also makes your team like want to look out for you and want to do anything, go above and beyond for you because they
Yeah,
know that you care about them enough that you're gonna train them and look out for them too.
yeah. I don't blame you though, man. Like wanting to get hands on, dude. Like I like I said on this podcast all the time. Doing your job in country, there's gonna be like nothing that compares to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, So how was that deployment overall? Obviously, I don't want to know. You probably don't remember like how many numbers of IEDs you guys blew up or anything like that. But was it like very IED heavy? Like, hey man, we're getting called out every freaking day.
Oh yeah, yeah. 2007 was one of the craziest years for IEDs, and just the amount of boots that we had on the ground in 2007, it just caused for more people finding stuff, right? So
Yeah.
we were just so many people on the ground that everybody just finding stuff. So we're having to respond to 5 to 10, sometimes 15 IEDs in one day. So it was
Hmm.
busy. It was hella busy. It was
What
most.
what what would you say how the IED evolved over this
Oh
deployment?
yeah, yeah. The IED kind of was similar based on different areas. So some areas had very similar, components, the way they put stuff together, the way initiated, and then some of them you can tell were a little bit more well engineered. So they have like quick connectors and like better cables and better power supplies and circuit boards
Hmm.
instead of just basic as whatever components they could find. But yeah, during 2007 and 2008 is when the EFP came about. So I remember seeing just basic IEDs to one day you start seeing some copper uh, fragments left in vehicle that left huge holes in vehicles, and yeah, the EFP was some of the craziest stuff because it would go through multiple vehicles, both sides, like big armor, right? The armor was like 5 to 10 inches thick, and it'd go through that shit like butter. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
When what was there a different way you had to approach these IEDs?
Oh yeah, I mean all IEDs were slightly different, so you kind of need to treat them all differently. But yeah, sometimes the biggest thing is trying to figure out what's going to set it off because sometimes they're a pressure plate that you step on. Sometimes in Iraq they're using a lot of the infrared little sensors, so there's a lot of motion sensors. So it
Oh
just
damn.
yeah. So just figuring out where that motion sensor is and make sure you don't move in front of it.
Hmm.
Approach it from behind. But yeah, cell phone initiated. There's man wire initiated. There's so many different ways that they could set it off. But it was that was a difficult thing. And then uh, if you're lucky, they only have one initiation source. So I mean, it's way to initiate it, right? So if you're
Yeah.
lucky, it's just a pressure plate. But sometimes it's pressure plate plus infrared plus cell phone. So yeah, you got to figure it
What
all out. Yeah.
the fuck? No wonder it takes freaking. Well, our EOD team was awesome. They were there pretty quickly, but I heard stories saying like y'all guys took forever, and I was like, I can't relate. So,
Yeah.
but I can't imagine like, hey, I mean, dude, okay, the pressure plate, and then you got infrared, and then you got remote. Like, I
Yeah.
don't like what goes through your head, man. Like, okay, so let's talk about more about the team. When that guy, the team leader you're with, was real team oriented, and like a young specialist Ayala, like, hey, how what gets the gears going in there? Like when you see something,
Oh yeah, I mean the first thing you want to do is figure out like who they're targeting because they're always targeting something, right? It's a weapon to target something. So who they're targeting? Are they targeting a vehicle or are they targeting dismounted patrol? If
Right.
they're targeting dismounted patrol, then start figuring out how could it be initiated to dismounted patrol. Is it a pressure play? Is there a motion sensor? But yeah. So yeah, sometimes they like to do hoax too. So it'll just be a fake just to see what your tactics are. Usually when there's a new unit around, they see new trucks or new personnel or new patches. They'd like to put a lot of hoax out there just to see how the units are going to respond. So those are the
Yeah.
craziest because you're like, they're watching you, right? They set it up as a watch. So you
Uh-huh.
show up and like, oh crap, this is fake. This is completely fake. Everybody needs to keep their heads on swivel because somebody's watching, somebody's recording, somebody's collecting intel on us.
Yeah. How do you stop the infrared type thing? Can you
Usually
say?
you approach it from the back, right? You don't set out the infrared, but yeah. EOD procedures are a little bit classified, but
Okay.
a lot classified, and each IED is different, right? So plus I've been out for like 12, 13 years now, so
Yeah.
I probably don't even know what the nowadays procedures is for all that stuff.
Yeah, they probably declassified your stuff because it's been such a long time.
Yeah, it's
What?
probably not even relevant. The way we did it nowadays is probably not even the same way that you do it now. So
Right.
I wanted to,
Uh,
it's not the same.
what are you like? Are you guys getting like fielded new tech and stuff during this deployment?
Yeah, yeah. We kept getting new robots, better robots, still to come, upgrade our robots. We started with the Humvee in early 2007, so eventually we got this big EOD truck that was awesome with the V-shaped hole to help us with the blast from underneath and carried like the robots easy to pull out and stuff. So yeah, and I think we got a UAV, but the UAV never worked over 100 degrees. And in Iraq, there was very little data said it was under 100 degrees. So
Yeah.
so it was
Um,
useless.
are you like do you experience like type of like because you said like they'll put like fake ones out there. Are you experiencing like, hey, they're sending the EOD team out. Let's go ahead and shoot at them and let's ambush them and
Oh yeah,
like you know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, so back to 2007, we ran 5 to 10 IEDs a day. So we got a little bit of everything you can think of, from the complete setup where you show up to this fake and it's complete just ambush, to they set it off and then it's the ambush, to they try to hit you on the way in or they hit you on the way out. But yeah, it's sometimes you show up after the IED's already gone off. So at that point, there's usually a firefight already. So you're just trying to, get in, figure out what's going on, and figure out if they're still an explosive hazard, figure out if we can help in each way, and head out to the next one.
Dude, that's wild to me. Like, hey, you're getting shot at. You just blew up an ID, and then they're probably luring you to another one to kill you.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
and then we're used for like planned operations too. So, if there's an HME factory, of course, you're going to bring EOD in to take care of the HME factory. So a lot of night ops, a lot of planned ops going door to door. Yeah, in Iraq, they like to do door to door stuff. That's I guess it kind of worked in part of Iraq, but we ended up going to another part of Iraq where, of course, if we're going door to door, they're going to know you're going to the next door, so they just start booby trapping the doors. You're
yeah.
going to get everybody. So yeah.
Dude, so how do you blow? Oh wait, I can't. I mean, it's probably classified, but like, how do you even blow up a door? Like, you're just gonna blow up anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so man, man, that's crazy, dude. Like, just doing so much like explosions and stuff. So this is a year-long deployment.
It started as a year-long deployment. Yeah, I think it started as a 6-month deployment that turned into a year-long deployment that turned into a 15-month deployment.
Fuck, that's a long time, dude.
It might have been 16 months. It was supposed to be 15 months, and then they told us they didn't have a replacement unit, so we had to wait until somebody showed up.
Damn, dude. So you probably turned 20 years old over there.
Yeah, yeah. I
Uh-huh.
actually IMC. I was 19 when I graduated EOD school. We left in February 2007. I had just turned 20, and I turned 21 to February 2008 in Iraq,
Oh
and then
wow.
we came back in June of '08.
Damn. So did they let you go on R&R or anything like that?
Yeah, I went on R&R when we were still under a 12-month deployment, so my R&R was a little bit short. But it
So
made it up and sent me to Qatar for a 4-day weekend, which is cool.
oh, how are you feeling like going on R&R? Like it's kind of hard, right? You're doing a very intense job, and
Yeah.
like you're going back to Texas to decompress, and like do you is it like difficult? Like are you like
Oh yeah.
I mean you're blowing up IEDs, dude, and now you're going to somewhere where there is no IEDs. Like are you paranoid or what?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I probably went home like, I'm sorry, it's probably like late '07. So say November of '07, I get to go home on mid-tour leave. And I've literally just been in the craziest, daily combat, incoming, daily, just daily missions, 5 to 10 day. Then, and then, yeah, trying to go home. And then, yeah, the entire time you're at home, you just built this bond with your team. So, they need you. It's only a 3-man team that's down to 2-mans while you're gone. So yeah, it's uncomfortable. I
Yeah,
wanted to go back, help my team as soon as possible, but I also wanted a little break. So it was tough.
yeah. Um, so after this 15-monther, like obviously that sucks, dude. Like I know some people out there are like, damn, imagine taking leave in the middle and it's like real bad experience, you know. So when you come back after Iraq, um, I mean you're hot shit, dude. I mean, like, dude, you're a young EOD guy. Like, you're like, I could continue to do this. Like, how long is just your initial contract?
Yeah, my initial contract was 4 years. During my first deployment, yeah, I was all into it. I was enjoying it. I thought it was my calling. I thought this is where I need to be. I was doing well. That second team leader that I had was a really good leader, so a really good mentor, and he was, getting me ready to get promoted. I got promoted to E5 in like 2.5 years, so it was like quickly moving up the ranks, and then starting to learn how to be a team leader so that I could pick my own team eventually. Yeah,
Yeah.
during my first deployment, the only count that I remember is I got my first NCOER while I was over there because I picked up E5, but uh,
Okay.
during that NCOER, they counted 498 incidents that we took care of in a 12-month period.
You said 498?
Yeah,
Oh my
in a
god, dude.
12-month period. Yeah,
And that's not counting the other 6 months.
yeah.
Oh shit. Um, now that you have your calling and stuff, like, are you taking a team on this next deployment?
Yeah. So I come back. I was, now by now experienced E5, trying to get team leader certified. So I eventually got team leader certified back in the States. No, I think I might have finished it up while I was in country, but by the time I got back to the States, I was a team leader. I may have finished it up in the States, and then I went to go be an OC at NTC for another EOD unit that was about to deploy. This other EOD unit that I was OCing, they only had three people, including the first sergeant, that had ever deployed the entire company, and they were doing terrible on the incidents. They were doing like, making silly mistakes. Just,
Yeah.
out in NTC, they were just looking terrible, and eventually I ended up volunteering to join that unit on their deployment, and I signed my little 12-month 12 time away. uh, 8 months after I got back from my 15-month deployment, I went back for my second tour. And this time,
Uh,
as team lead.
when you talk, let's back up. So when you get team lead certified, what do you have to do?
Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of requirements, skills you have to uh, perform and show that you have the ability to do. Uh, you go through a whole bunch of different scenarios, one pretty much for every possibility of IED or explosive hazard that you can run into. Like everything, you run into like chemical situations. You do all sorts of chemical training or EOD training to make sure that you're qualified,
Mhm.
and you do this huge checklist. Everybody has to do this huge standardized checklist of what all is necessary to be a team leader. And then after that, then you get evaluated by a senior team, like senior EOD tech, to make sure that you are, you know, capable of doing your tasks, and then you get team leader certified once the
Oh,
commander or battalion commander approves it.
and this is this is like what, like a year-long process, 6 months or
Yeah,
what?
yeah. It's usually it depends on how fast they're trying to push somebody, but it usually should be like, you should be a team member for a year or two, and then go through this for like a year. Yeah. So
Oh, okay. Did, so obviously they groom you like, hey, this is how it is being a team leader. Like I'm gonna show you some of the tasks that you're gonna have to do. So make sure you're competent. Like your mentor is showing you stuff like that, right?
yeah,
Um. All right. So how did they pick you to be an OC to go to NTC, or the big army told you to do it?
yeah. When I got back, yeah, battalion just sent me orders one day to say, hey, this date you're gonna go be an OC for this unit. I had just gotten back from Iraq, and they were going back into the same area that I had just gotten back from, so
Hmm.
uh, they just picked me.
Okay. And obviously you said they were doing terrible, but what was it, lack of leadership or just lack of knowledge?
It seemed like a little bit of both. Uh, Again, I don't know if they just, yeah, again, I got lucky that my unit that I got into, everybody was super experienced. So they were like, making sure that I knew combat lifesaving skills, make sure I knew, how to react to fire, how to, put together Mark IIs, put together the 249, do,
Hmm.
basic soldering skills. And I felt like the other unit did not emphasize basic soldiering skills as much.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just looked sloppy. They were making mistakes. It was just, yeah.
Where was that unit out of?
They were also out of Fort Hood.
Oh, okay. So you're so how does like what is it, like a different battalion, or is it like a different company, or what is it?
For EOD or for,
No, like so like you volunteer for that unit. Is it like a different
oh,
battalion, or how's that work?
yeah, it was just a different company within the same battalion.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, so you volunteer, you waive your dwell time away. Like, is it because like you're missing the thrill, or is it like, hey, I want to help these guys, or what?
I think it was a little bit of both.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, yeah, I would probably too. I mean, like we just said, it's hard to not do your job. And you do it well, you know.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
I try to do everything well, for sure.
yeah. Um, what are they having you do, or like you just taking a team, or like you're like, what are they having you do?
Yeah, my second deployment. At first, I started just as a regular team leader.
Mm-hmm.
But then as we got there, they found out that there was this partnership, and they wanted like the experienced team leaders to go to this partnership.
Mm-hmm.
The partnership was with the Iraqi police, so it was to train the Iraqi police bomb squad to be better equipped to be bomb techs and
Yeah.
take over all the explosive hazards in their country.
Yeah. How was that? I'm reading this over here right now, your
Yeah.
stuff. But how was that, like dealing with a like a language barrier and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, it was a challenge, and not just a language barrier, cultural barrier, right? They have a profound dislike for Americans, so they would be very vocal about how us being over there causes sandstorms, how we're over there taking all their resources and causing blackouts, and also they're blaming us for
Yeah.
everything. Um, some of them were kind of more receptive. They kind of saw a little bit of value in what we did, and accepted our training, accepted our help and stuff. But a
Hmm.
lot of them, if you didn't like directly benefit them, they didn't care about you. They didn't want you around.
Yeah, I'm seeing like, was there like tension there? Like, hey, like we're gonna freaking beat y'all up or something, or what?
Yeah, I mean, at first, it's Iraqi police compound, so it's a huge number of them, and it's just usually at first they try to send just the EOD team by itself. It's just three guys over there, and
Yeah.
I was like, I kind of would really like to have security team to go with me, so we got security team to go with us, and it was two trucks two infantry trucks plus our truck, and yeah, the infantry guys would stay in their trucks, mounted crew serve weapons and on the radio in case anything went down. But
Yeah.
yeah, we would go into the compound and go meet with their leadership and figure out, what kind of training they were doing for the week or for the month, and what kind of yeah, missions they've been running, what they've been finding, what they've been doing with the explosives that they find. Just
Mhm.
trying to get some intel, try to build some relationship. But their culture was like, they, everything is they don't like to be rushed, so everything is like on their own time. So they want to have chai tea first. They want to smoke hookah. They want to talk about family, talk about general politics. They want to talk about everything but what we need to do. And then once they feel like it, they're like, oh, okay, now we can start doing whatever the hell we need
Yeah.
to do.
They're obviously not doing like in-depth training like you've been taught, but you're teaching them like what exactly, like what basic are you teaching them?
Yeah, and that's kind of where the challenge was, is like, how much do we teach them before it backfires on us and ends up being used against us, right? So
Right.
really, we're teaching them basics. This is where the explosive hazard is. This is what it looks like. This is basic uh, procedures you should do and try and stuff. But yeah, nothing too in detail and depth.
Okay. And so, did that take up the majority of your time there? Like you were teaching the IP?
Yeah, that was my daily mission. Though my mission was to pretty much help the transition over from our military fortress to their local resources. But
Yeah. So I gotta ask, man. Like, how are you? Like, so you're probably like E5 promotable, right? E6 maybe.
yeah, I think I had picked up E6 by then. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not what you did on your first deployment.
Yeah.
What? What? How are you feeling, man? I mean, that's like a big change, dude. Like you're out there stabbing the ground for bombs, and now you're just having disagreements with the freaking Hodge. You know?
Yeah, yeah. It was completely different. It was definitely something to get used to. The first deployment where you can't trust IP at all. The Iraqi police will shoot at you. They'll set up IEDs. They were just as bad as the bad guys. In the second deployment, they're like, all right, go into this Iraqi police compound and make friends. So yeah, it was difficult, man. Yeah, it was something to hard pill to swallow, something to get over. And they like to challenge you too. They have to, like, a little bit of an ego on them, so they'll challenge you to see if they can like break you. Like, so they'll tell you some of their
Yeah.
war stories and some of what they did and what happened to them. And good thing is I had just been there, like, for 15 months, not even like 12 months ago. So I was like, oh really? I was there too. And I was doing this too, probably fighting against me, but luckily
Yeah.
we weren't. Just throwing it back at them at that point. I was like, you know what? At that point, I had just survived 15 months, so I was super, super confident, and I was just,
Yeah.
whatever you have to say, man, I'm here. I'm here for it.
I can imagine like the Terp is just like hyping them up too. They're like, oh well, they're saying this. You
Yeah,
gotta fucking hala hashibilaba, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
just
yeah.
freaking like going at them,
Yeah.
dude.
You
Um,
couldn't really trust what the Turk was saying. Sometimes they would get in arguments, like they get heated arguments, and you're like, "Wait, what's going on? What's going on?" You go, "Oh, nothing, nothing. Don't worry about it."
uh,
Like, "Oh man, come on."
so do you enjoy the training aspect so much? Like obviously I'm reading your questionnaire here and it's like you do you enjoy it enough to go like train? Like you're like that's what I want to do, or do you want to keep like I want to keep searching for freaking bombs, dude?
Well, I mean, I, my first deployment was tough, right? A lot of DoD techs passed away just, looking for bombs and disarming bombs. So I was all
Yeah.
about handing that part back over to them, right? It's not even our country, so why are we over there poking at the ground, disarming bombs? Let them handle it. That was my mindset. I was like, I am all about doing whatever I can to hand it back over to them and get us out of there, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, I thought it was a great mission. I was putting, all my effort and everything I could into getting them to take back over the responsibility of disarming the bombs in their country.
Yeah. Okay, so you come back from Iraq, you go to like a training, right? You become a What is this? 55th EOD company. So like you're training NCO now? What is that? What are you doing now?
Yeah. After my second deployment, yeah, after that partnership ended, uh, I didn't want to. Yeah, I was on orders to go back to another EOD deploying unit, so I put in a packet to go to this stateside response unit where you're kind of landlocked for a little bit, but you're doing EOD response in the states. So I was
Yeah,
like, yeah,
that's
that sounds
cool.
cool. So I'll do that for a little while. So I went up to the 55th. It's in Northern Virginia. You kind of do EOD response for all local law enforcement in the East Coast, and then you also help any federal agencies that need help too.
Hey, that's a badass job, dude. I don't.
Oh,
Hey, that
it
sounds
was so
dope.
fun. Yeah, it was so much fun. I thought that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I was like, I want to do something cool where I'm like federal agency doing EOD stuff, but you're working like 10 months out of the year. Like you're working, 100-hour weeks. You're working every single weekend, every single holiday. So
Yeah.
it's tough, man. I had just gotten married too, so it was like, yeah, I got married right before my second deployment. And then I deployed, so then I got back and had to go through like BNOC and all the NCO schools, and
Hmm.
so for my first 2 years of marriage, I probably saw my wife like 3 months.
Oh shit. Yeah, I could imagine that how rough that is. On this stateside mission that you're on, did you get to experience anything or?
Yes, surprisingly, there's like unexploded ordnance kind of buried pretty much at any military exercise site, like any impact area or any old military base. Also, any place that's been like a battle, like any Civil War battle, there's cannonballs still buried. Randomly they're finding stuff pretty much once a week. They would find random bombs or grenades or sea mines or cannonballs and stuff.
Yeah,
Pretty
man,
apparition.
cannonballs are badass, dude.
They're
Like that would
badass,
be freaking cool.
but they're filled with like black powder, and over time it gets super sensitive, and yeah, they will still go
Yeah,
off.
that's man. That sounds like it. I know. Yeah, I can imagine like the tiring of it, but man, that sounds so cool. Like, what is there like any of the typical like movie shit? Like, like, hey, there's a fucking bomb in the bank. Like, like anything like that.
No, we would do a lot of training with like local law enforcement and federal law enforcement for those kind of situations, but nothing like that ever happened. I did have one guy. I think it was in Fort Jackson or around Fort Jackson. Somebody went to the impact area, like a homeless guy went to the impact area and found like a training bomb, and he loaded it up into a shopping cart and tried to sell it for recycling. So the recycling company calls the police, and the police calls us, and we show up, and this guy's got a legit, sand filled training bomb in his shopping cart, and he's trying to sell it for scrap metal.
Damn.
Sell it to recycle for scrap metal.
Yeah.
Luckily, it was
So
a training round, so it just had sand in it. There was no explosive hazard in it. But this guy was just,
yeah.
pushing it around downtown, whatever, Columbia, South Carolina, in a shopping cart.
Okay. So how do you know that? Is it because you didn't get to see your wife that often? Like that? Like you knew this was coming to an end for you?
I mean, I also lost a couple of good friends while we were deployed, and yeah, I while I was at the 55th, I ended up getting in trouble, did some stuff that got me in trouble, and then uh, after that, everybody's kind of like support or whatever they were looking up to me kind of went away, and I was the training NCO, so I was proud of helping everybody getting ready for either their team leader cert or their next unit or the next mission and stuff. I had seen a bunch of IEDs, so I was making training IEDs for everybody so they can get the experience without all the hazard of the stuff that I saw and ran into and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and then that happened, and everybody kind of just like kind of just almost forgot that I had still done all that. It was still me, and I think they might have just been waiting for the moment to pass me up or just get one on me because I had spent so much time just kind of climbing up the rank pretty quick and kind of, being a cocky, arrogant, you know,
Yeah.
military service member that you can kind of think of. But
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of got me a whole different perspective, right? I had almost given my life twice in combat, so like, and then for everybody to just turn their back on me when I needed some help and stuff. And at the time, I got in trouble because I was struggling with health issues, and I was I was dealing with some shit, and instead of people helping me, they kind of just
Yeah.
trying to demote me and kick me out. And I was like, all right, I see how it is.
Yeah. That's so shitty, man. I can't stand when like obviously you probably told somebody like, hey, I'm dealing with some shit, man. It's not just I'm not just acting out on my own, dude. Like, you know what I mean? I'm whether I really don't know what the entirety of the situation was it physical, mental. Um but I mean, you went through a lot of shit, dude. Like being 15 months deployed and I mean, digging up bombs, dude. That's not an easy freaking job, dude. Like, and
Yeah.
losing
And I was
friends.
like 23, 24 years old by that time. It's still kind of young, still kind of kid, right? Like I felt
Yeah.
like I needed more. I still probably still needed guidance, but whatever. It happened. It is what
Yeah,
it
no,
is.
I know exactly how you feel, dude. Because when I came back from, I was 20 years old, right? I deployed at 19. I came back at 20. I saw my best friend died over there. Had to go recover one of our a different platoon, uh, a soldier in there. We had to go recover his body, and I was just going through it, man. Like 20 years old, it's rough, right? You can relate to me on this one. And the way I coped with things was I was eating, right? And I know it's funny because it's food, right? But like people don't realize like the food that it's like it's sometimes it's worse than alcohol, man. Like all that freaking saturated fat, the sugar. But man, does it make you feel good, dude? You're like kind of forgetting about stuff. And then how the army is like, oh, you're fat, you're a fucking piece of shit. Like,
Yeah,
instead of like, hey man, what's going on? You gained freaking 20 pounds in 2 months. Like, what's going on with you? Like they didn't even try. So I know exactly how you feel. They were trying to kick me out too. So like
yeah,
it sucks.
yeah, yeah. I was kind of shocked. So after that, I was like, you know what? That's it. All right, whatever. I'll find something else.
Uh-huh. Do you ever feel like you actually dealt with whatever you're going through? Like, did you like you were you able to move on?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I struggled after that. I got out after that. So, and I had just had a kid. Yeah, during that time, my wife was pregnant. So I got out. Let me see, my kid was born in like July, and I got out in November of the Army. And then because, I had just got in trouble, nobody in EOD wanted to help me out after getting out. So I was literally like completely felt lost, just completely lost. Like all the people, all of my buddies, everybody that I thought was looking out for me and looking out for each other, not just looking out for me, but thought I was, reciprocating the you know the brotherhood and the camaraderie that we had. But yeah, after that, I struggled, mentally. I was like, man, what am I gonna do now? Now I had a kid and a wife that depend on me, that need me, and what I thought I had, developed and turned into just, it's gone. Now what?
Yeah.
So yeah, it took me a while. I tried a few different things. Yeah, none of them were giving me the satisfaction that I had. Going from being an EOD tech, right, where you're a hero pretty much every time you did your job, to now you're nothing. You're just a regular Joe Smo that collecting unemployment. Like, has a terrible feeling, man. Especially having a kid
Yeah.
and yeah, but yeah, eventually, I kind of turned to religion. My mom's always been super religious. She's like, you've been smart. You've always been smart. Go to college. And at the time, yeah, I had my GI Bill, so like, you know what? I earned it, so I'm gonna go to college and see what happens. So
Yeah.
I did a little bit of research and found that I was like, what, I found a good passion in electronics while I was in EOD. Right, electronics is IEDs are pretty much an electronic circuit system that you got to figure out how it works. So I learned a lot about electronics, found some interesting things about electronics that were kind of relatable to IEDs and the EOD stuff that I was doing. So I was like, I've always been good at math, so let me just try for electrical engineering. So I I found what best Texas college I wanted to go to, and applied only to Texas Tech, and got accepted. Went to Texas Tech, and 4 years later, I graduated as an electrical engineer.
Damn. Hey, man, a lot of resiliency in you, and congratulations, you're making it this far.
Yeah,
Uh,
thanks.
it shows a lot, dude. Like, you could have just threw in the towel. Like, I mean, I don't know if you struggled with like addiction or anything like that, but you did. You made it through like a lot of stuff, man. You did it, and that's what I kind of tell people nowadays. Like, you gotta look for something to do it for, right? Like, you gotta do it for yourself or your
Oh yeah,
family. You know.
and the path is never perfect. I messed up a lot. I had my issues. I got in trouble a lot. I dealt with alcohol, all sorts of issues. But I eventually just got to deal with them, right? Got to quit pushing them back and suppressing them, and eventually you got to admit that there's some issues and go find some help and find whatever makes you feel good, and get do that, and find a good support group and help have people support you and help guide you, and you got to find your way, find your purpose.
Do you feel like the purpose that you've given yourself now trumps what you did?
Oh yeah. I mean, being an electrical engineer is going to probably almost just as hard as being a bomb tech. It's the schooling, yeah, people that graduate. It's difficult, right? And then um, because I was a bomb tech, I found a job, or EOD tech. I found a job doing research for different government agencies and different organizations. So yeah, it's cool to do stuff that's never been done. So it's cool to now I'm a research and development engineer. So I research novel technology and try to create better technology that's never been done before. So it's
No.
it's a satisfaction in its own. But I feel like you don't just necessarily have to find a job that satisfies you and gives you purpose. I feel just as much purpose in being a dad as I do for my job, right? I enjoy being a dad. To me, that gives me the most purpose. I
Oh
think
yeah,
being an electrical engineer is probably second to being a dad. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, for sure. I agree with you 100%, man. I love being a dad. So, um, we my obviously I've told you a lot. You've seen some of the episodes, man. And I always end it this way, man. What kind of advice would you give somebody right now that are, dude? I mean, like, dude, I can't tell you how many people message me daily about they're still struggling and stuff. What would you tell somebody right now?
yeah. I mean, don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. We all struggle. I mean, nobody has an easy life. Nobody's life is perfect. We're all going to make mistakes, so don't be afraid of making mistakes, and admit into it. Though sometimes you got to help hold yourself accountable. I'm in this situation because I made so and so mistakes, and I got to figure out what the best way to move forward, so to not make the same mistakes and to learn from the situation. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, be true to yourself. Make sure you actually hold yourself accountable for whatever situations you find yourself in, and find the best solution. But
hmm,
finding a support group was probably the biggest thing that I could have done. It's luckily my wife has been super supportive, but some of my army friends from back in the past have been popping in here and there, and they've been just as supportive as they were before. So it's cool to reconnect, right? The way I've
yeah,
been seeing your podcast go, it's reconnecting with those friends that you had, and it kind of brings in that same enjoyment that you used to have. So I
yeah,
think reconnection is a big thing for sure.
yeah. Hey, I'm gonna do a little something different, man. Two more questions.
Yeah.
Give me some dad advice.
Some dad advice. Just spend time with them. Like a lot of people think, uh, just like exciting things are important, but just the normal everyday things, just walking them to school, talking about how their day went, just those things are how you build trust and relationship with the kids. But obviously, like yeah, give him the opportunities that you never done. So to me, that's my favorite part about being a dad is I get to give him the life that I wish I would have had as a child. Right? I wish I get to be the dad that I wish I would have had, which to me is the coolest thing.
Hmm. Okay, my last question. Um, Give me some husband advice.
Husband advice. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been married for 16 years. I love my wife. She is what helped me deal with so many issues that yeah that I can't even tell anybody else, right? So communication is the most important thing between a relationship. It's like, be true about how you feel about situations, be true about issues that you run into. Don't try to suppress any issues and deal with it yourself, because then I feel like if you share the issue, you guys both get that same satisfaction. You get that satisfaction of overcoming the issue and the challenge and stuff. But yeah, obviously make them feel special, right? Don't try
Yeah.
to don't try to hold them to the same standard that you hold other soldiers. Everybody's different, so everybody's get different in different roles. So make sure
Yeah.
you're supportive of everybody throughout whatever role. And I try not to compare myself to anybody, right? It's we're all equal, we're all humans, we all bleed and die the same way. And so, treat everybody, with respect is my biggest thing. Everybody, my
Yeah.
kids, my wife, strangers, neighbors. It's all, give and share respect.
Yeah, for sure. Well, man, I appreciate this conversation. Do you have any questions for me?
No, man, appreciate you, appreciate everything you've been doing. I think this is awesome to, share a story that we're probably going to forget and never going to tell anybody, and nobody's ever going to know. So it's cool to capture our history in this
Yeah,
video.
for sure. All right. Daniel Ayala, ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
thank you so much for watching this episode. If you already made it this far, go ahead and hit that subscription button or follow if you're on Spotify. Share this content. Once again, hit us up on all major socials. I'm always looking for guests. Thank you so much for checking it out. We drop a new episode every Wednesday. And with that, we'll catch you on the next episode.